So for the next part of the lecture, 我们其实要讲的是关于到 Boltzmann distribution, which is actually talking about the activation energy. 所以我们在 biology 那边其实之前 IGCSE biology 或者 chemistry 我们可能就讲过关于到这个 activation energy. In a way, is how to think of what is the energy amount needed to kind of like activate 这一个 effect 的 thinking. So what does the Boltzmann distribution say? Okay, the Boltzmann distribution says the number of particles which have sufficient energy to react. Okay, 它就是讲那个 graph 会 show 出来。This is actually a visual aid. Okay, 它是让我们更容易去看到的。And how to see how the change of the temperature concentration and the activation energy results in this increase of the rate of energy. So let's have a look of the Boltzmann distribution. The first one, that will be the number of particles and the energy. So we can see that a few particles have very little or great deal of the energy. In where? In this case. Okay. So 也就是讲着它只有很少 particle 的时候，它只有很少的 energy. But at the same time, 如果它是很多 energy 的时候，它同时也是一个很少 particle 的 case, which is an interesting observation. Okay, we will learn more about it in the future. But for now, just remember, keep in mind of that. But most of the particle 我们看到它是 actually concentration in the middle part. Okay, so most of the particle we actually have a large hump, and then we say this is the optimal. Okay, and hence approximately maybe here there will be a showing of a line that shows that it has an activation energy. So this is the part where it says there's sufficient energy to react, and this is what we call the activation energy. Okay, but what if I increase the temperature? 如果我 increase temperature 的话，我的 energy 也会是 increase 的。So 我们的那个 curve is actually shifting to the right side and also bending downward. Okay, 因为我根本不需要这么多 particle 来 gain that much of energy due to the heat. Okay, 因为它们一直在 colliding. Okay, so 我们的 activation energy is, for example, if the activation energy is still the same, but you will realize that under the same graph, under the area is actually different. Okay, so this graph 它就会 more area due to the increase of energy, and this one has less from the normal temperature, for example. But what if I increase the concentration? 如果我 increase concentration 也是可以 increase of the area here. So we have higher concentration, higher collision, so there will be more energy. But the interesting thing is we don't actually shift it. Okay, we actually have more particles. 因为它的 concentration 你可以 think of like the number of particles increasing. Okay, so in this case it's actually increasing more. So for this part, feel free to draw the Boltzmann distribution. It should be on OneNote because it's drawing. And what you want to do is 你需要去画 two different temperature of K1 and K2, where K2 must be higher than K1. Mark and label where the activation energy is for catalyzed and uncatalyzed reaction. Okay, 所以也就是讲你 speed up 了之后，它的那个 activation energy 是在哪里？然后没有 speed up 的情况，它应该是在哪里？ Okay, so another question is for you. Which of the numbers shows the amount of particle with the most probable amount of energy in the gas with the lowest temperature? And the second question is, which of the numbers shows the amount of energy most common to the particle in the gas with the highest temperature? Okay, feel free to answer this. 这一个应该是会在 discussion board 里面的。Okay. And the last part, for some reason, there is a lot of past paper. Okay, so feel free to do the past paper here. So before 我们 end 这一个 lecture, what I would like you to do is actually read the question and pause the video, and we will kind of like explain why. Okay, for the first part of the question, we have question answer as A. OK，记得如果它是 increase in temperature 的时候，它是 shift to the right side and then bend downward. So for the second question, the main reason that the reaction increases with the temperature is because we've got a larger portion of a proportion of the particles which have a higher energy. So these are the two answers for this. So if you feel like you need to review or ask a question, feel free to do so.